morning. Know it now. Make sure you have plenty of gas, food, water, batteries, and other supplies. Double check your insurance documents and your important papers. At the same time, please only take what you need when you're buying supplies so that all of our residents have an opportunity to get what they need in the event that we go through the storm. Our public works crews have been out and are continue out surveying and clearing drainage systems in flood-prone areas all over the city. First responders at our Sheriff's Office and Fire Department are planning and coordinating as we speak and have been. Our city is no stranger to these types of events. This Emergency Operations Center prepares for these types of events year-round, so your city is prepared and ready. It's too early to make decisions about evacuations, but again, I'm stressing to know your evacuation zone because we may very well find ourselves at some point in the next 24 or 48 hours calling for evacuations depending on what the storm does. Please, again, go to jacksready.com and watch and pay attention and listen to local media so you're up to date. FSU Boise State. The game has been moved to Saturday in Tallahassee at noon. This decision was based solely on the safety of our citizens and people that may be traveling to our city. So imagine this. So talking about moving the game, this was a difficult decision to make in conjunction with leaders of the universities, public safety. This isn't about a weather event happening during a potential game. This is about the ability to move people. This is about having thousands of people here from out of town when we may either be issuing evacuation orders or we may have counties south of us that have issued evacuation orders and are coming up through our interstates. It would put too many people's lives at risk. So again, people are asking the questions. It's not about a weather event on Saturday. It's about making sure that we are prepared to be able to evacuate or handle evacuations that are happening on Saturday and potentially Sunday, because if you have a Saturday game, you're going to have people waking up here from out of town on Sunday. Specifically, 45,000 tickets were sold. 17,000 of those were local sales. So the difference, we would have over 30,000 people visiting our city when we could be issuing evacuations. Imagine a scenario where a football game is being played. ESPN is here, and I've ordered evacuations, and the announcers are calling the game, and they're watching this play out that we're telling people to leave our city. This was, again, tough decision, but the right decision. Hotel and cancellation fees, we're reaching out to Visit Jacksonville and encouraging them to work with people. The game will be played at noon in Tallahassee, and they are selling tickets for $10 per ticket. All tickets issued as a result of the game in Jacksonville will be refunded 100%, and details on those refunds will be coming out, I believe, the beginning of the week. The Jaguars preseason game will be played tonight. That's moving on as planned. And I'm going to stress again, make sure you know your evacuation zone. Just to touch on some things as this thing moves, it could be potentially a Monday morning 8 a.m. event on the track that it's on. However, before that, we have unusual tide levels that are happening as a result of the moon, and we also have a rain event that's going to be in this weekend. So the conditions are ripe if this event happens for flooding. So stay tuned, as we will probably be addressing potential issues if we have this event with Trout River, Southampton, San Marco, Riverside, Pirates Cove. Again, be prepared, be ready, and let's all take care of each other. As you prepare with your families, while we're not issuing any evacuation orders right now, I am asking for issuing a mandatory prayer that this thing stays away from us. With that, Sheriff.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of quick things. So just to encourage everybody to stay tuned to the forecast. I mean, you could see some changes in the forecast the next day, day and a half, that could impact some plans for the weekend. So we want to make sure that the community is staying tuned with that, obviously through local media, through social media, and watch that. And most importantly, as we move into the weekend, just be patient with each other. As things develop over the weekend, we want to make sure that people are safe on the roads, and again, just be a good neighbor and be patient as we have, in the past, and work through this event. So, thank you.
We've got our beaches mayors up here. We've got agency heads. We've got our superintendent. So, our fire and rescue, if we'll take any questions on any issues.
Mayor Ross, with the superintendent here, and maybe people think about schools, if you wouldn't mind stepping up to the flag during. What have been any thoughts on schools? I know, nothing has been ordered, but what is the plan involving schools?
Currently, we will have our schools open throughout the remainder of the week. We will still have Friday night football, with the exception of a couple of teams that were traveling down south. Those games have been canceled. Until we get the order to open shelters, we do not foresee closing schools during this week. Next week will be a different question.
Mayor Curry, you talked a lot about the team coming up. What kind of economic impact do you think this has?
Clearly there was going to be economic impact, tourism, bed tax, etc. We'll get you those numbers. But I'll say this, again, as we went through this decision matrix, this is about the safety of people above all. You can't put a price on the people of our city and people that would be visiting our city. So we'll get you what the economic impact would be, but tough decision, but we believe right decision. And look, I hope that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, there's no weather event, that this storm has turned and gone, and people are saying, why the heck didn't they have that football game? I'll take that any day, because we're making the best decisions we have with the information in front of us to keep people safe.
For the beaches areas, is there any sort of closures? Are the dunes kind of prepared to handle possible storm surge, anything like that?
Well, we'll be collaborating. You want to address?
I can just say that after Irma, we've completely restored the dunes. We're in good shape and ready to handle the situation that comes. So.
What do you see happen at the beaches right now? Are people doing what they need to be doing, or what would you like to see?
Well, the city has taken action to take the first stage requirements to being prepared for this and buttoning things up. We're asking our citizens to do the same thing. I noticed at the grocery stores there's a tremendous amount of folks in line getting bottles of water and canned goods and things, and as the mayor said, that's really what we need to be doing at this point.
Some of beach closures will obviously be driven by bridge closures. Way premature to talk about that. That's based on wind speeds in collaboration with the Florida Department of Transportation, right, Sheriff, and the Sheriff's Office. And if we get to that, obviously we'll address that at that time, and everybody will have information in plenty of time to make a decision.
And there's nothing like they need to be doing now, like permits or whatever, what happens when they did close beaches, you need something to get back in. That's nothing you take care of early before a storm.
We've had a great partnership. We've been through 2 of these together.
That's right.
This is our 3rd, and we make decisions as one voice in terms of evacuations, and we'll make a decision as one voice in terms of getting people back to their homes if we get to that as quickly as possible.
JA is ready. I see Mr. John is up at this time. Is there anything you want to let people know that they need to be doing when it comes to electrical power?
Yeah, sure. Be prepared. We're the experts, and we're being prepared. We prepare 365 days a year. We've invested millions of dollars in hardening our systems against storms, making sure that our tree trimming, which obviously has an impact on power outages, is cut to a minimum. And we've also put in a lot of backup power on water and wastewater facilities to ensure that we protect the environment and have a secure potable water supply. Make sure you have your water on hand. Make sure you have backup gasoline for your backup generator. One note on generators: if you do end up connecting your generator to a house, please make sure you disconnect your main power circuit. We don't want you hurting yourself as you put in backup power. So we're prepared, and we encourage everyone of our customers in the 4 counties that we serve to be prepared.
I knew many of the lift stations were an issue during the last storm that failed. You had to get generators for them. Are they set to go?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've put fixed generation and majority of the lift stations that have a majority of our flow, and we have secured over 100+ mobile generators as additional backup for not only ourselves but our other partners that are on stage.
Does JEA have any plans to mobilize crews to help out other areas impacted, or is the focus going to be primarily on Jacksonville as the storm approaches?
So it certainly depends on the track of the storm in terms of who gets impacted the most. We have stood up both our EOC here downtown as well as our Cat 5 rated CodeLogix EOC in the event of a more significant storm event. We coordinate with FMEA as well as APPA, which are our kind of industry mutual aid, to make sure that both Jacksonville and the customers that we serve have the appropriate resources to respond, as well as our partners around the state have the appropriate level of resources. We coordinate with all the utilities, both electric and water.
I'll just add a couple more points. For special needs citizens that need to access the electricity for medical needs are asked to register with our emergency preparedness teams. Then go to coj.net/special medical needs or call 630-CITY for assistance. Citizens must pre-register if they plan to stay in a special medical needs shelter during an emergency, and they must re-register every year, so this would be a good time to do this today. And I would, again, just ask you, the media, to help us on this this message, because I understand this is a Labor Day weekend, a holiday weekend. People work hard all year. A lot of people were looking forward to relaxing this weekend and looking forward specifically to this football game. So if they're home and they're not seeing weather on Saturday, just help us get the message. It's not about weather right now. This is about making sure that we can get people in and out of our city in a safe manner in the event that we need to, based on what this storm model does. And if we had put this decision off beyond noon today, we wouldn't have been able to move it, and we could have been facing very dangerous results. Thank you.
Okay, so what you heard the mayor say just now is first responders are out. They are getting prepared right now. There are also crews out making sure that problem areas get taken care of, trying to avoid downed trees in the road, for example, possible flooding in different areas. So you have JEA out looking at different problem spots that could be problematic. But he also wants you to know your zone. Right now he says there's no mandatory evacuation, but he did call for what he called mandatory prayer. And one other thing that he did mention as well, schools will not be closed tomorrow, and as you know, Monday is Labor Day, but after that they will decide if they will close. And when it comes to getting your supplies at the stores, he says get what you need, leave some for your neighbors.
Right. We want to get you caught up on the very latest now when it comes to Hurricane Dorian. Once again, the FSU versus Boise State game, scheduled to be played on Saturday at TIAA Bank Field, is being moved now, not being played here in Jacksonville. It will be played in Tallahassee because of the storm. There was 45,000 tickets that were sold. They will be refunded if you can't go. If you go to Tallahassee, they're $10. The First Alert Weather Team also says the hurricane will become a Category 4 storm at landfall. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has issued a state of emergency for 26 counties. Action News Jax has live team coverage on what leaders are doing to keep people safe and what you need to do right now. We start with Action News Jax First Alert meteorologist Garrett Biedenbaugh. Garrett, a hurricane expected to increase in intensity.
Yeah, right now it's still a Category 1 hurricane at 85 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds. Moving to the northwest at 13 miles per hour. You can see there's a dry slot trying to work its way in there with some drier air being sucked into this system literally from the south and west. But there is that kind of eye wall feature right now. You can see that explosion of thunderstorms right now with the colder cloud tops. This is 1-minute satellite imagery, literally giving you minute-by-minute updates here in the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center. And there is that eye. It's still filled in right now. Every once in a while it may try to emerge into kind of clearing out like a typical hurricane you would see with a well-structured hurricane. Here's the latest forecast track. This is what you need to know right now because it has changed with the intensity forecast. We've told you there will be changes. There'll be more changes with time as we head through the next few days. It's expected to be a Category 2 hurricane by sometime later today. That could be this afternoon or into the evening hours. Of course, Chief Meteorologist Mike Bursch will be here giving you that updated information. And as we head through Friday morning, already potentially a Category 3 major hurricane for the day on Friday. And then going back to the west, likely impacting the northern Bahamas as a major hurricane, perhaps even a Category 4. That's the new with intensity update with this particular forecast at 11 a.m. And then somewhere along the east coast of Florida by Monday morning, potentially as a Category 4 hurricane. That's 130 miles per hour or higher there. And we'll be seeing potentially that somewhere along the east coast of Florida. Yes, Jacksonville is still in the cone of uncertainty. So to sum it up for you, what has changed with the 11 a.m. advisory versus the 5 a.m. advisory? Well, the intensity forecast has increased once again, strengthening to Cat 2 by this afternoon. And early Monday morning, Florida East Coast landfall as a Category 4 at 130 miles per hour is the latest forecast for the National Hurricane Center. There's still time for things to change, and we will keep you updated, of course. Now, it'll be near over Florida Sunday into Monday. That's kind of the bottom line with that. We will be seeing increasing rip current risks and surf as we head into this weekend. Dangerous rip currents, by the way, and also we'll talk about that coastal flood threat as well with the onshore winds and new moon cycle regardless here over the next few days. Coming up in your First Alert 7-day forecast, I'll time out some specific impacts, and another forecast factor that we're watching here is the ridge of high pressure, the Bermuda High. We'll time out the latest forecast models for you coming up in the Action News Jax First Alert 7-day forecast.
See you then, Garrett. Leaders across the state are warning Floridians to be prepared for anything. Action News Jax Megan Moriarty is live right now downtown where she just spoke with the mayor. Megan, you asked just how big of an impact moving the FSU Boise State game will have locally.
Yeah, and that presser just wrapped up. As you know, this morning, the governor announced the venue change from here in Jacksonville to 2 hours away in Tallahassee. And the mayor said that approximately there would be about more than 30,000 outside people coming into the city, and it was just too big of a risk to take. He says that it was a tough decision to make to change this game, but it was the right decision. He says that he's working with hotels to encourage them to help with refunds. They're also going to be refunding all tickets, as we said earlier, and then the tickets in Tallahassee will be about $10. And again, he said that it was the right decision to make, that it's just too big of a risk. They're not doing evacuations just yet, but they could potentially be doing them on Saturday or Sunday if this storm continues to develop, and they don't want all these people in the city. It'll be harder to evacuate. We will continue to bring you the latest, and right now we're about to go downtown and talk to some of those hotels. We'll bring you all of that on your Action News Jax at 5. For now, we are live in downtown. Megan Moriarty, CBS47 Action News Jax.
Thank you, Megan. This is new video of Governor Ron DeSantis here touring NOAA. That happened just about 30 minutes ago. Action News Jax first reported yesterday, announced 26 counties are under a state of emergency. Now that includes Baker, Clay, Duval, Nassau, Putnam, and St. Johns counties.
Now, as locals get ready, they're finding that some store shelves are empty, which is why the mayor says get what you need. An Action News Jax viewer sent this picture of water being limited to just 3 cases per customer at a local Publix. The grocery store tells Action News Jax that it's working around the clock to meet demands. Others found almost nothing on the store shelves when they went to Costco at the town center.
If you are planning on shopping for storm supplies today, here are the things you should stock up on. First of all, up to 1 gallon of water per person per day. If you need at least a 7-day supply of non-perishable food, you got to get that. Don't forget also a can opener, a battery-powered radio, too, to listen to updates from the First Alert Weather Team on News 104.5 WOKV. Also, keep portable chargers handy to stay up to date with our apps. Charge those devices. Also, make sure you have any important documents stored in a sealed container. Now, if you aren't able to buy water, a local business, Connecticut CGC Water, will distribute water to anyone who needs it free. Distribution will happen at their location on St. John's Bluff Road South today through Saturday. Now, they are asking you to bring your own container. There's a limit of 15 gallons per family.
Now, certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
I'm First Alert meteorologist Garrett Beatonball. Right now, here's visible satellite imagery of Hurricane Dorian moving to the northwest at 13 miles per hour. You can see the latest forecast track we just talked about here a few minutes ago. Still going to be likely a major hurricane as early as Friday morning, and will continue off to the west and northwest, likely strengthening a bit and potentially even a Category 4 hurricane over the northern Bahamas and somewhere along the Florida East Coast Monday morning. And notice Jacksonville, yes, is still in the cone of uncertainty, and even portions of southeast Georgia as we continue to see the model data try to shift it back up the spine of Florida as it heads inland. Now, here are the latest spaghetti plots here for this morning. We'll get multiple rounds of these through the day. That's when you want to tune in each and every broadcast, because we'll be showing you these throughout the next couple of days. Here's the pinpoint, the cluster of them really hovering around the Cape Canaveral area, the central Florida coast, the Space Coast, down to even the Treasure Coast, and up up through portions of extreme northeast Florida, but we'll continue watching the trend here. If it's closer, then that means a little bit more impactful scenario for us. It's all about the Bermuda High. How far can it keep it trapped to the south of Jacksonville? Or is there a weakness in the ridge that would help push Dorian back and let it ride back to the north a little bit? That is something we cannot discount yet, and we will continue monitoring these latest forecast trends. Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish will be here tracking that for you this evening. So a couple of different scenarios. One is a direct hit to Florida and also back to the north and west. So Corey's going to break down, meteorologist Corey Sima, some of these local impacts for us.
The onshore wind, Garrett, that means elevated rip current risk at area beaches. Also can't rule out coastal flooding. We have a coastal flood advisory in effect right now, lasting all the way through the weekend. Those high tides are going to be a little bit higher as well. Heavy rain, there will be bands of that this weekend. It's not going to be a washout, but there will be times when that rain does fall heavy, and we cannot rule out isolated tornadoes or water spouts, as we are going to be on the right front quadrant of the storm. Today at 5 p.m., Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish updating that track. We're going to get new stats at 2 o'clock, and then at 5 o'clock, a new track as well. Keep in mind, on any given day, the odds of tropical storm force winds are practically zero. So as we get Dorian moving closer to the east coast of Florida, you see those numbers really go up. Orlando, Melbourne, there's West Palm as well, but Jacksonville, those numbers increasing a little bit as we will see the potential for tropical storm force winds, especially Sunday into Monday. Garrett?
And you can see the Action News Jax First Alert 7-day forecast. Of course, your weekend is always in view. We're going to be tracking Dorian minute by minute, hour by hour the next few days to see what that forecast track will be. But first, it's going to be a nice day here. Mostly sunny skies, and we'll see a dry Jags forecast as well. Mid to upper 80s for your Friday with increasing onshore winds again. We'll see temperatures in the 80s. And then we see some onshore flow, not from Dorian yet, some scattered showers. And then Sunday into Monday and into next week, highly dependent on where Dorian goes and to how much rain and wind we will get. You can always get this forecast any time of the day and get updates from us in the First Alert Weather Center by downloading the free Action News Jax First Alert Weather app and join Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 Action News Jax.
What to watch, brought to you by Ashley Home Store.
A special needs community right now preparing for Hurricane Dorian. Our team coverage picks up with Action News Jack's Elizabeth Pace outside a local facility live built to withstand a hurricane.
That's right. They say they've learned from past mistakes. Now, right now, they say they plan to have all the residents come here to their community center that was actually built to withstand a hurricane. Torres goes into military mode during severe weather. If Hurricane Dorian impacts Jacksonville, it will be her third hurricane at the Ark Jacksonville Village on the south side.
We learned what doors might have a breakage or a little leakage of water, so we can plan for that. We learned what lights go on and what controls the building.
This is a community for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. For people who don't have a family who can come and get them, they can stay here. A community center specifically built to withstand a hurricane.
We've got inflatable beds. We've got, we're going to have cots this year that are different, so they're pretty comfortable here.
Wanda Cribbs is Torres' sister. They both work here at the center and plan on staying here with the residents during the storm.
Well, you might get one or two that's a little leery and a little nervous, and we do our best to keep them very, very, very close because we don't want them ever to have that uneasiness.
And if there's anyone else in the community who might need additional assistance during severe weather, we'll be explaining their options ahead at 5. Reporting live on the south side, Elizabeth Pace, CBS47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
Keeping our eye on Dorian, right?
Yeah, we've got the latest forecast track. Next one by 5 o'clock, hourly updates, top of the hour, and join Chief Meteorologist Mike Burris today at 5 on CBS47, Action News Jax.
All right, we're keeping you informed. Have a good day, everyone.
That's right. The Young and the Restless is on next.